Our first guest tonight is the longtime coach of Jewell baseball. He recently went past 500 wins. Mike Stockton is our guest. Welcome, Coach Stockton.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Happy to be hitting leadoff tonight.
Hitting leadoff is a good way to describe it. I think that's right. We do have 4 today, but with your skills as a runner, we put you in the leadoff spot tonight. And you talk about coming right from practice. You are dressed in your baseball pants and shoes. You guys got outside a little bit today.
Oh, it was so great to get outside. We've been waiting for 30 days since finals of last semester to now be able to be together as a team, and it was just great to get the guys together. It was really the first day that we've had a team practice since then.
Because of the storm of the century over the weekend, which didn't come to pass, but you weren't out on your field. Where did you practice outside?
We practiced on the football field. It's got the turf on there, and so that's been awesome for us to be able to utilize that, and I know a lot of teams, not just football, utilize it. But we're lucky that the storm of the century didn't hit us, so we were out there today.
In a lot of ways. Tell folks, because I know in the past you've actually played full games on our football field. How does that lay out? Where do you put home plate?
Well, we put home plate in the northeast corner, and so we measured at one time to hit the football press box, you'd have to hit it about 430 feet, and so we think we're safe. So maybe with Dylan Christie this year, he might be able to hit it, but he would be about the only one.
But that would be, that would be a shot down the right field or right center field, right? Okay, what's the distance to left in that configuration?
I don't know, a mile. It's
Exactly.
Definitely an inside the park home run, though.
Right.
Because if you can get it over the left fielder's head, you're running for a long time.
Do you bring out portable mounds and all of that stuff too? Mm-hmm. What about a backstop?
Yep, we sure do. Nope, the backstop is, there really isn't a backstop. So, no.
Okay, so pass balls, fly balls over the left fielder's head, all could result in lots of extra bases. Mm-hmm. Mike Stockton is with us here, the head coach of Jewell baseball. It's a happy hour with the Cardinals. Lots of things to talk about, but let's start with 500 wins. How meaningful is that to you?
Well, I mean, at the time, it didn't seem like so much, just another day, another win. But now that I've had some time to reflect, I mean, it's special in a lot of different ways because you realize how many people help you accomplish that. It's not so much about you. It's more about the other people that made that possible, all the assistants, all the players, all the support staff, all the administrators, and just really Dr. Salih, who hired me to be the baseball coach, not even thinking one day that you'd win 500 games. And he's the one that put it in motion to begin with. So, I mean, so many people play a role in that, and I'm just thankful.
You were the first coach after Fred Fluke, right?
Yes.
That had to be not an easy thing to do.
Well, he's a legend. He's a Hall of Fame coach. And, there were some things that are intimidating about it, but in reality, it's really him paving the way for so many things that allow me to do. You're just standing on his back, his shoulders, so to speak. I mean, if he didn't have the success, then I wouldn't be able to use his past success in some of my recruiting or, be able to talk about the program in the way that I can now because he's been to World Series and won national championships, and he's a Hall of Famer, and we have such a great program. A lot of it due to him and what he was able to accomplish prior to me. So, it's a helpful thing to be able to be in a program that has a lot of storied history.
And storied history indeed. The only national championship for a team at William Jewell was in 1968 in baseball with Fred Fluke as the head coach. Did you have to change a lot of things, or did you philosophies mesh there, or did you come in and do things a little differently?
Well, I think.
Or do you remember you're getting old and it's been a long time?
Yeah, well, I actually remember it like it was yesterday. I think you're always trying to put your own spin on things when it comes to your opportunity to develop your program. But I do think that just based on the timing, him being older and me being younger, there were a lot of things that are just different in the game. The game changes, the ebbs and flows, the concepts, are hit, run, and throw, but there are a lot of nuances that have changed since Coach Fluke was doing it.
One thing that you'll note anytime you go out for a new baseball season is Mike always does something to improve the field. A couple of years ago, it was the brick facade, the scoreboard, what he called above the scoreboard, the arch, the William Jewell College arch, things like that. Every year there's something. What's been the latest thing that folks might notice when they come out this spring?
Yeah, well, we're actually getting ready to put in a set of flagpoles. And they'll be in left center field. In the middle flagpole, we'll have the American flag, and then on the left, we'll have a Jewell flag, and on the right, we'll have the Missouri flag. And so that's going to be the newest thing. And it doesn't seem like much, but every year, like you said, we're just trying to upgrade just a little bit here and there. And I think it's really going to be a nice little touch.
The iron fence, the circles the perimeter of the stadium, very nice touch.
Yeah, that was the last thing we did. We put in a wrought iron fence that encompassed the field, and it gives it a real stadium feel. I think
really
it's a lot different than when you pull up to a Parks and Rec where there's nothing that binds you there, and now you have to walk through a centralized location, and there at that location you've got some nice flags, and you have a kind of a grand entrance, and you have landscaping and flowers and all of these things that really make it a stadium feel. It's not just a rec field, and it's just gorgeous out there.
Mike Stockton from Jewell Baseball is our guest. It's Happy Hour with the Cardinals, and I wanted to talk to you because I think outside of the basketball coaches, you're probably the most senior member of the coaching staff, right? You're longer there than anybody, I would guess.
Yeah, other than Larry and Jill, I do believe so. And it's just hard to believe that it flies by so quickly.
The reason I bring it up is because you've seen changes. When we're ensconced in the NAIA, we make the transition to the NCAA. Now we're 6 years into the NCAA. That's a lot of changes during your, is it 15, 16 years now?
Mm-hmm. It is change, but at the same time, you feel like you've just got your head down and you're just working and you're trying to do the right thing and develop kids and get them graduated. And so even though there's a lot of change, some things stay very much the same.
What's been the biggest surprise, and what's been the thing that you expected in making the transition from the NAIA to NCAA?
Well, it's probably the same thing. The biggest surprise and the biggest change is just the level of competition. I knew that it was going to be better, but I didn't realize how much better. And it's just been, it's been great. I mean, it's a curse and a blessing at the same time. There are some real challenges, but at the same time, those challenges are what makes it fun to be a coach.
Right.
And, you look forward to some of those things. So it's been good in many ways.
You, as a team, struggled a little bit the first couple of years in the Great Lakes Valley Conference in Division II, but the last 2 years have been in the conference tournament. Last year, we were in a great position in the winners bracket. 2 years ago, made it to the NCAA regionals. So did you change how you were coaching, or did you change the kind of athletes you were coaching, or a little bit of both over that span?
Well, I think there were a couple of things that put us behind in those first few years. And number one, our last year in the NAIA, I graduated 17 seniors. If that would have just been 1 year ahead, we would have had 17 seniors in Division II my first year.
Which makes a big difference. You've talked about that.
Big difference. And they were great players. And so I think we would have performed much better. So you graduate 17 seniors, and we only had just a handful of seniors that very first year in Division II. And so I think that made a big difference.
So you kind of reloaded and then came back with those juniors and seniors as big parts of the team. What do we need to do to continue to be good in baseball or any part of our athletic program?
Well, I tell you, it worries me all the time. I mean, it's hard work, and as a coach, it can be very fleeting. You realize that, you're having some success, but you know that it can go away at any time, and you just have to continue to work and just work hard at finding the right fit. To me, it's all about the right fit. We've got to find the right kid academically, athletically, the right character kid, where it all comes together and gels, and bringing in people who want what I call the Cardinal way. doing things the way we want them.
Because we're one of the smaller schools in our conference and because we're one of the smaller schools in the NCAA, do you have to find ways to do things differently than other NCAA schools? Or is there a little bit of that when you talk about being smart and getting all of those things?
Well, I think the biggest difference between the NAIA and Division II is that in the NAIA you knew that you were really competing against similar type models, small private colleges. And in Division II, a lot of your opponents, or at least maybe not in your league, but in the recruiting aspect, are public institutions. And so there's a big difference between private and public. And so you have to have strategies based on, you still want the same athlete, you still want the same player, you still want a high caliber player, but you have to have a strategy involved in going about recruiting those kinds of athletes.
People, I'm sure, don't know that you played, after playing at Ottawa University, you played overseas with the Royal Antwerp Eagles out of Belgium. I know you still love the game. You play fast-pitch softball. That's a lot of fun for you, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. I grew up playing fast-pitch softball. I grew up in a small town, and we didn't have high school baseball where I came from. And so fast-pitch was a big sport for guys to play, believe it or not. And so, my dad played and everybody in the town played, and then you played against these smaller little towns around. And even to this day, I still put a team together 2 or 3 times a year, and we'll go play some men's fast pitch softball tournaments. And the sport is really dying out quite a bit. But the one thing that's been fun for me is that now being at Jewell for 15 years, I'm starting to use my alumni to fill my fast pitch softball roster. And so even though I'm getting older, I'm still getting these young kids freshly out of college to be on my team, and we go around and it's fun beating some people.
And real quickly, I know there's more to this story, but you also asked Monica Abbott, who's the $1 million pitcher coming in this weekend to put on some clinics. You asked her to play on your fast pitch team. She wasn't altogether opposed to it, I understand.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. I've gotten to meet her because she's friends with our softball staff. And, I think she genuinely sees the passion that I have for fast-pitch softball.
Right.
And so we made a connection there pretty easily. And so I kid her all the time when I see her, hey, you need to be pitching for me sometime this summer. It'd be great for you to
Wouldn't that
to
be
do
something?
that.
That'd be something. Mike, it's always a pleasure to visit with you. I'm sorry we're kind of out of time here. There were so many more things I wanted to talk to you about, but thank you for coming right from practice, and good luck this spring, obviously. We'll have our announced schedule of coverage of baseball at William Jewell College coming out here pretty quick. When is your first official game, though?
Oh, our first game is going to be February 19th down in Lawton, Oklahoma. We play Cameron University.
All right, Michael Stockton, thank you so much for being our guest. Happy Hour with the Cardinals continues here from Minsky's Pizza in Liberty. And coming up next, Peyton Meeks, a sophomore golfer from Indiana, will be our guest.